I remember when I was young, right? You're watching all these movies, and in this movie, there's this CSI show, and they're like trying to catch a thief, and they're looking through the CCTV camera, and they're like zooming in. Right now, we AI can zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and it keeps on getting sharper. That used to be something that was very impossible.
Yeah.
Right? Anything that allows people to create stuff. And you might say that, why would people who have learned Adobe Illustrator, why would someone use Canva? I mean, if I some of the works that I've done in 2012, some people's Canva are better than my work. Like there are times where I create templates for people and I deliver it to them on Canva. There are times where I create templates for people and I deliver it to them on Google Slides, right? Because sometimes it's more about the collaboration than it is about you design. So the thought is that I must be able to deliver the design in a way that allows it to operate.
A lot of the things that we're doing too, we now embedding that culture and that lifestyle. You made the example of LASMA or road safety. How that is so embedded in our culture. Nigerian police, like all these memes, these things that we see every day, like our daily life and living, being able to like incorporate all these elements. You see the downfold typeface that she created, you see Festac, all these things. Like, why are people recognizing it? It's because it's local.
Yeah, and I think it's even what we need to put out there because, you check, you search on Google, you check Pinterest, you check FreePic, you check many of all these platforms that, are in existence where we find references. And you realize that a lot of the things that you find as references are Western. When you look for African references many times, it's just people's interpretation of what African culture should look. And that's why I think it should really be about the stories because I mean, an African typeface, right, will probably not look like what downfold typeface would look like because this is. I don't know if you get what I mean. Like if you Google,
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Yeah,
it's very different to see that. Okay,
yeah,
African because it is tribal and it looks
tribal. It has all this, those patterns. Yeah, those accents.
So I just really think that we need to basically look for our stories and tell them. And if I the other day and she was talking about how she does art with food and a couple of other with many things. With pencil, with sharpener, whatever, just with anything she finds, she uses it to create art. And she was talking about how even then, like what you said, what you can't create art that's just bland without you putting your own sort of culture on it because that's missing. That's what is new. That's what other people don't see like that's what
you can't see anywhere else.
Yes, that's what you don't see anywhere else. So that's your leverage. Say, you know what, this is something before. This is me interpreting the story in a way that nobody else has been able to tell you before. Or this is me saying something. So, and I think that we need to see more of these references. We need to because this has to the way that we are being inspired by all of these references. I also believe that we need to put out our work. We need to put out these things. So that, be inspired by what we create, by the stories that.
Yeah. So you also mentioned working with Dribble, right? You mentioned hosting, Dribble. What did you guys do together as as collaborating? What did you guys achieve together?
I'll say that the challenging thing we're working with, and this is part of why I started Lagos Mates in the way that I did. But the most challenging working with a lot of international communities, right, or international brands like Dribble, Figma, all of
Figma as well. Yeah.
Is that at the end of the day, you want to make sure that whatever it is that you're building, right, or whatever it is that you are creating, like say you create an event, right, you want to make sure that feedback is able to go both ways, right? You want to make sure at the end of the event, if something needs to change about the event, if the community wants something, if they want to see something change, right, that feedback can go off the chain. But what usually happens, and this has happened so many times with so many different brands, that it's more or less like, okay, you work with them and you say, let us work in this particular way because this would be a better way to work with Nigerian creators because this is something that it's like, no, this is how you work. Or if you don't work this, the ambassador, or we find someone else who basically, can basically do this what we want in the way we want it. Community has to be two-way, right? You
Mm,
can't run when you're dictating the terms, or dictating
absolutely.
all. So that's
Yeah.
my with working with community brands like that, because sometimes things need to be done in a certain kind of way. I mean, for example, let's even use Adobe as an example. I believe that we shouldn't be paying for Adobe in dollars, right? I believe that if it was possible, we should have a way
Yeah.
to come. And it's gonna more people pay for Adobe if Adobe was priced.
Absolutely. I'm still shocked at the fact that Adobe hasn't established like a pricing system for Nigeria. Meta
We
has
don't
done it. Facebook, I mean, first, Meta is Facebook has done it. Twitter, I think Twitter too has done it. Like, so why is Adobe yet to adopt? Even Canva has done it. Canva, you
yeah.
pay in Naira. Microsoft Office has done like so many international brands and products that we use. People are not earning in dollars. The average person in Nigeria doesn't earn in dollars. So why are you charging them? And these are industries. There are a lot of creators that are using this software.
I know a company that was talking to me about the Adobe subscription, and they were like, "Oh, we pay over 1 million naira for Adobe, every year, and that's just
Mm,
for like for maybe one or two softwares, And you're just like, okay, this you need to like, because even many other, I mean, Nigerian creators pay for other software too.
mhm,
You have companies that charge you a particular amount because you're in Nigeria, right?
mm.
Or a particular percentage because you are, in and
Additional fee.
yeah,
Yeah.
all of that is just not there. Is like, so I don't really think that that's taking feedback, right? So
Mm,
I don't
mm.
our job to work on it till that kind of change
Yeah.
happens. But what I'll
Yeah.
say is that that conversation has been very, very hard. I've had this conversation with them for years apart. Every
Mm,
time, different way of saying we're not interested in, changing anything we want to do,
mm.
except because we want to work, So that's really how it has been. But I also don't think that that's the end of it. I mean, there are some things that we're working on right now that
Okay.
basically, at least prepare everything. And I say this because I'm still leveraging the connections that I have in some of these companies and organizations, right?
Yeah.
And still sure that at the very least we can present this in a way that leads to like positive outcomes, right? Since it's
True.
in that, but that hasn't happened yet, and
Yeah.
it gets to happen. But I think Adobe is a great software. They just need to change how they engage with the community.
So let's talk about technology and specifically let's talk about artificial intelligence. Our very own AI, which is your good friend, I believe. Is your good friend, your controversial good friend. I saw one of your sessions where you were speaking about where someone was asking you about AI and you were like, it's about the way the creators use it, it's about the intellectual problem. I was like, man, yeah, discussions can go on AI because it's almost like bloodlines, because it's like I think I heard some people saying, it scrapes you know, things like it just craves the internet to like, and you're like, I saw another post that someone was like, I'm worried for VFX creators.
Yeah,
Where you did like an image that had like a warrior who was clothed in like a four, with a helmet on the runway. I'm like, what? What's your perception of AI in the design industry, in the creative industry?
So I would say that with respect to AI, it's a field that I've been following for a very long time. Like I've been following it since I realized that you know artificial intelligence was making sort of strides. I mean, the very very first DALI, I was so then DALI was not it was this 52 by 52 grid picture, right?
Mm,
Where they create a so they fed it on only information on yellow buses, right? These yellow carpenter buses that people use, to transport school children in the US,
okay,
UK, right?
okay.
So that was what was in the um, research, sorry, in the data that it was fed, right?
Mm,
And they asked it for, and I mean, they trained on colors and all those things, so it knows what a color looks like. I think they then
okay,
asked it to create a lemon green bus. That was something
okay.
that before, and he created a carpenter boss. I mean, it was still in a very, very small, blurred out,
Mm,
pixel image then. But it struck me that what? So you mean AI creates something that was not is not in existence, that nobody else
mm,
can, right? And that has led me to like, because I don't just create stuff with AI. Like I'm always testing out stuff. I'm following all their research papers. Like
mm.
I'm really engrossed in what the capabilities are. And
Yeah.
possible. And I say this because I think it's very important, because when you think about what AI can do, right? I know still going to speak about all of the issues that we have, especially with creators and how it's still on our work and trying to put us out of business and all that. Because I don't think that that is irrelevant. It's very relevant, right?
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
but then again, I want to start from this point where I remember when I was young, right?
mm,
You're watching all these movies, and in this movie, there's this CSI show, and they're like trying to catch a thief, and they're looking through the CCTV camera, and they're like zooming in,
mm,
and it's becoming
mhm, mhm.
technology that can zoom in, and the details keep getting clearer. But right now,
Like,
we have that. Right now, we AI
mad.
can zoom in and zoom in and zoom in, and it keeps on getting sharper. That used to be something that was very impossible, and it's now
Mm,
possible. I'm very,
wow.
very by the fact that technology that we made can do things like that. Now,
Mm,
what's the bad part? I don't think we would have all these issues that we are having with AI if, like I said
mm,
in that program that that you were quoting, if
mm,
the people use I mean, Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, and OpenAI, the three of them, according to their own professed whatever that what they said, they script the internet to train
mm.
the AI, to train their own algorithms to understand how the internet works, right?
Yeah.
They cannot undo that, right?
Mm,
They can't undo that. But if they didn't go through that route, this AI will still be able to do everything it can do. Because
really?
yes, it will. Imagine that everybody whose work they used, they got permission from them. That, what,
Mm,
I want to use your work to train this AI. Shay, I want to use your work to train this AI, right? And they get all these permissions from all these creators, and they use to train this AI. The AI technology will still be able to do what it can do. But right
mm,
now, we have this problem that sort of emanated because, they've done something we cannot undo, right? They've trained the
mm,
whole on the internet. How do you undo that? So we'll just keep on complaining.
mm,
And you would even see that after it happened to the creative industry, because it happened to artists and all that, right? They had to go through, I mean, there's AI for music right now, but they didn't go
mm.
through that route. AI for music is seriously licensed because
Really?
you're gonna be standing up with guys like Universal Music, right? Who have lawyers, payroll that will sue the
As
company, you know.
if they hear one single note that sounds like them, that's it for you. Mm,
So
mm,
I think these things have happened. It also makes
mm,
me understand just how the world goes, because the even these same companies that build this same AI algorithms for image generation, check
mm,
how they're approaching music, check how they're approaching some other creative whatever.
mm,
You see friends. You get what I
mm,
mean? Friends.
mm.
So I just think that if they had gotten that permission, and maybe it's that we don't have this sort of maybe creative commons or ways of licensing
Or
our
regulation or regulation or like a structure, like the structure, like the way you have structure in music and you have licensing and publishing, all those acts, copyrights,
yeah,
intellectual property protection, all those things, the way you have them regulated in music and movie industry. Yeah, we could actually, it's possible. I think it's possible in the design industry as well, but please go on. I
so
find this
yeah.
so interesting.
So I mean, when people say, "Oh, don't use AI because don't create AI work," or I mean, you're stealing from a living artist. I
Hmm.
mean, bad, because I'm like, that's probably going to continue to be the argument. There are some alternative companies like Anthropic, some other guys who have taken a different approach towards like training their
Really?
AI. Yes, outside of they got permissions, they got all of those things. Even I know there was this one that gets images, because gets images also um no, sorry, Shutterstock. I can't remember what they went
Okay.
to. You know, I think it was OpenAI, Dali partnered with Shutterstock. Also, there are some. modifications now where companies are going into whatever you have to opt in or you have to opt. I mean, they should have all these sort of like, you know, arrangements with artists who get paid for
Yeah.
to train the AI, right?
Mm,
But that before, not after, because
mm,
it just means that there is no way to counter the arguments. Because I wasn't understood the work is that it was trained on the internet and you can't untrain it.
mm.
So I should
Wow.
still, you know, whether I should continuously. But do I believe in the abilities of these technologies? Yes. You know, but who does the fault lie on? It's not me. I think it's those companies. I think if you want to sue them, you should continue to sue them.
I hear people saying things like AI is coming for your job. AI is coming for your job. AI is coming for this industry. In the next 5 years, there will not be this industry. Like for example, writers. Oh my goodness. I feel like writers are under so much threat, but still the art. I feel like so like as an AI enthusiast, like that's what I'll call you. As an AI enthusiast, how do you foresee AI in the future? I mean, the future is right before us now, but thinking about it like in like 5 years, 10 years, with the rapid advancements in the algorithms, the learning machines, or whatever they call them, the way they're able to, you can tell AI to draw like Picasso, and it will give you artwork like Picasso. Like, bruh, that's mind blowing. If you told someone that 10 years ago, they'd be like, man, you live here.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
I
Yeah.
would say that's from where we are right now. Even now, I mean, with all of what's the, you know, challenges or the, allegations against AI are, I still think
Mhm.
that AI is really profound for all of us, right?
Mm,
But when AI, like it was last year, right, when AI started to really get mainstream and you had ChatGPT launch and people really knew that, okay, I mean, this AI is capable and is here to stay, right? I remember that it looked to me that AI was entering every single industry, right? I mean, you have food startups who are adopting AI, you have writers who are
mhm,
adopting AI, you have Adobe themselves who are adopting AI, you have
mhm.
whatever tool you are using, people are looking for ways of from your search algorithm on
Absolutely.
Instagram is finding ways of using AI to make sure that
Telling you.
you're, you're
Mhm.
not leaving there, or that you're able to
Yeah.
like tailored content, you know.
Mhm,
So there's all of these uses of AI that have entered into everything we use, right? Every
mm,
tool we use, right? And to me, it looks like I was saying today, it looks like what that have just done is that AI has made all of our tools get better, right?
mm,
And I say that because I remember I held this event about 2 3 years ago called Maker Tribe, and we did this experimentation then when ChatGPT launched, right? And so if a friend and mentor of mine, he was going to test out this AI, live to everybody who was there, and we told him to write a script for him, and people were still like, okay, so he told the AI to write like a script of like a Nigerian commercial advertisement commercial, right?
mm,
AI wrote the script of the Nigerian advertisement commercial, and everyone was like, okay, nice, he gets it in some way. Obviously, still like sounding like ChatGPT, but then he said, "Can you tell me that the whole commercial read it to me again in pidgin, right?"
mm,
And AI translated everything to pidgin. I think it got people's attention because at that point you realize that okay, this is not just a tool for
mm,
creating that commercial. Like you can use this in many different ways. And for me, I really believe that the most profound ability of AI, especially with
mm,
things like ChatGPT, is like translation. Is being able to
mm,
like take what is in your head, right, directly into reality, or at least into
mm.
this case where you can bring your imagination to life, right?
Exactly. Like it can
Yeah,
flesh out the little bit I give it. It will make
yes.
it into a robust.
So whether that is writing, whether that is you using platforms like Copied or AI to say, you know what, I want to write I remember then when I was trying to put prompts in Copied or AI, and I was like, how do what New York Times, the editorial, how they write, how they
Mm,
start patterns, and you realize that
mm.
okay, you can you can basically use this as a brainstorming tool, right?
Yeah.
And it gives
True.
you all of these pages, and all you need to do is edit. It can save you time. It can save you. But where I'm even driving towards, right, is that all of this can look like, oh, it's taking the jobs away from writers. But
Mm.
if it's a writer using copy.ai, what they're going to ask it for, the way they're going to sort of like prompt it, and even how they're going to edit it after they've prompted
Exactly.
it, will be very different
Mhm.
from people who don't know anything about writing, right?
Exactly.
When that my friend that I told you about, when he was giving the chat GPT, he also because he also has experience with acting and all that. So the way he was prompting it to deliver scripts, the things he was telling
Mm.
that, see, I need you to give me a script that fits in this. It was more or less like a I would never even know to prompt it in that way to give me a script in that way. And ChatGPT will not respond to me in that way. It's kind of like
Exactly.
if that the people who are subject matter experts using this AI
Mhm.
will use it better than someone who is just using it for play. So yes, it will save everybody time, but it will generate better output for someone who understands what
Mm.
they're if you're a VFX artist, using VFX and combining that with AI in your process, it's not going to be like me that I'm just trying to create VFX with AI without any for background knowledge. I might create something which
Yeah.
makes goes right, but it
Mhm.
will not stand out. So the case is now that okay, should anybody be allowed to create anything, even if it's not like really, really good? But maybe
Mm.
not. I don't think that I think everybody's creative in a way. And I think that it's great for people to like bring their ideas to life. Because at the end of the day, that can serve as inspiration. It can serve to, it just serves in many other ways to if you bring your ideas to life, I don't think it's bad. I think it can always only get better. So but yes, I agree that AI has permeated every single tool we use, right? And it has made these tools better. It has made the
Yeah.
people who use them better, right? Now, with respect to what I think AI would look like in another couple of years, I mean, especially with AGI, I remember Google DeepMind, this was one of the really scary things that I had come across. It was their
Mm.
mission.
You scare us a
Yeah,
bit more.
Google they have a platform called DeepMind.
Okay.
Yeah, it's their AI research platform. And I
Okay.
remember it was Elon Musk who was talking about it actually, funny enough. And he was talking about how he got scared, right? But he was saying that, this is a company whose mission is to create AGI. That's their mission, is to create artificial general intelligence. And their definition of
Okay.
artificial intelligence is a consciousness or an intelligence, right, that is more capable than any single human, or sorry, than any single human or the collective of humanity, right?
Ah,
I think when you
there's
think of,
problem. Oh.
I
There's
think when you
problem.
think of company working, a company dedicated towards
Mm.
bringing a solution, right? Bringing a solution to market, and that
Mm.
solution is the solution has to be more intelligent than the collective humanity,
Ah.
and you now give that solution to everybody or to different people. Let's not say
Mm.
everybody. What would that allow people to do
Hmm.
if you could be more intelligent than you could ever be, or than
Mm.
everybody who can be? What kind of world would that leave all of us? So, like I
Mm.
said, I think we're just gonna have way better tools, like
Mm.
incomparably better tools. It's still
Mm.
gonna be better how we use them. If
Yeah.
you don't use them, I'm sure that is probably not going to be like you're probably going to like be shortchanging yourself in some way because
Yeah.
other people will use them, right? I remember one of the arguments that I had to because I also had this argument with myself when I was trying to use AI and ChatGPT and all of that, and I was like, what,
Yeah.
it's going to save me time.
Saves time.
Time is valuable because if you don't think
Yeah.
your time is worth saving,
Like.
think your time is worth saving. So another person will use it.
Hey.
So
Yeah.
you not using it is in a way you're not really on this or discovering how much benefits you can get from it. Anyways,
Mhm.
so I really think that as we get these really incredible tools that come out, and we have AGI, and even just like all these tools getting significantly better as they probably will get. 10 years ago, we couldn't zoom into pictures, right? Only God
Mhm.
knows what we're doing under 10 years. I would just say I don't know what the future would be. So I've been listening to this song, for a while now. Q Sarah Sarah. It says that the future is not ours to see, and I think
Mm.
that is because I'm saying this because I'm trying to make an argument for predicting the future. I don't know that we correctly predicts the future, right?
Yeah.
But what I can predict so far is that these tools will get way better, and people will have access to these tools. Um, and like I said, it still goes back to what we're already seeing now. The people who are subject matters being able to use these tools, we also use them. I mean, if we have better AGI and you being able to engage with AGI to create creative content to be different from someone who has no experience with creating a brand guideline or design
Mhm,
principle, creating
mhm.
the AGI. And maybe that might be
Yeah.
where I'm right because AGI might know these principles. But I still stand corrected that your
Yeah.
feedback, your review, right? All of those things that you bring into it, that's what makes it different. And
Okay,
maybe
bro.
something I would say, maybe what I should have said or what I would end with is that at the end of the day, it's human beings that consume the content. It's not AI. So you're making the human content or whatever you create for human beings, and human beings have
Mm,
preference, right? I can create a responses that don't like it.
mm,
It's not because AI does not think it's great. Is
mm.
that a human being does not think it's
He
great
does not
because
think he's great. Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
it's human beings that are at the end of the day have authority over what they like and they don't like. You have what AI will not suddenly change what you like and you don't like, even if
Mm,
everybody has access to AGI. So I believe that in the next couple of years, human beings will still be the ones creating. They'll still be the ones bringing this sort of like stamp on what they want to see in the world, and AIs will be right. I think that so long as the balance is not that we are working for AI and that AI
mm.
helps us, we are fine, right? We'll continue to create the things we want to see in the world. So maybe that's what I would just well end it.
Moving on to another section of this conversation, and this is a bit fun, and this is a more relaxed and less serious aspect of our chat. So it's just quick fire fun questions. So just a bit for our listeners to also get to know a bit more about you as a designer and as a person as well. So I'm just going to be asking different questions. So in no order. So quick fire questions. So you have to be giving me quickly. So
Voilà.
vector or raster?
Vector, vector.
Sans serif or
I
serif?
Photoshop. I mean, sans serif or sans serif.
Yeah.
Sans serif. Sans serif. Yeah.
Why?
I mean, I love sans serif because there's so serif fonts are as much as they're like some out there ones that maybe look
Yeah.
very like are so well done, like maybe
Mm,
the kind of pangram, right? I think serif fonts inherently are just so different. Like
mm,
they bring a lot of variety out of the box already, like just straight out of the
mm.
box. You can see two serif fonts and you're like, you don't even know that they are. Sorry, you can just see two sans serif fonts. I don't even know that both of them are in the same family because of how
Yeah.
different they are. But a serif
Yeah.
font can instantly recognize that this should be in a magazine. This should be an editorial. So it's very very. I feel there's a lot of variety with sans serif.
All right. Back to it. Adobe Illustrator or Figma?
Figma.
Oh, okay.
I use, I use Figma. I use Figma way more. To be honest, I use Adobe Illustrator when I have no other choice.
I've never used Figma for graphic design. Never, ever, ever. Uh,
Adobe has big great drawing tools. They have
mm,
some very great ways of manipulating vector shapes. Adobe has this they have many ways where you can manipulate vector shapes from like the pencil tool to the smooth tool to like all these hidden menus and all these things that allow you just create whatever it is you want to create, right?
yeah.
But I think that if you really start with like references and you know what you want to create, you can just really draw it. I mean, what I try to do is that if it has to do with like illustration, I can be very, very. Once I have my sketches done and all that, I
Mm.
can draw. Figma has pencil tool. There are some.
Wow.
I can bring
You
whatever I
draw on
want.
Figma.
I draw on Figma.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Wow.
it might take some time, but it's also. I just realized. I mean, it was harder when I started, but now it's sort of like second nature. So I
Wow.
Figma. And
Yeah.
I said it because using Figma, when I had to make the switch to using Figma a lot more, it was also
Mm.
because I really love the fact that, I mean, right now I can access all my files on my phone. I can access all my
The
files
cloud. Mm.
the cloud, it's available. You know, I don't have to say I would never lose my file. I would never say my laptop crashed and
But
I
there's
can't find.
Creative Cloud too now. There's Creative Cloud too.
I know, I know there is, but it was too late. I already discovered
Yeah.
Figma.
It was too late, to be honest. Yeah, Adobe caught up too late. I don't know why they're always catching up too late, man. They started to like trying to, make it lighter. That's the
Yeah,
word for creators, because that's the direction the world is moving in
yeah,
for
but they
creators.
have great tools. I would give it to them that their software and engineering departments, they are on fire, right? But
Absolutely.
it, I mean, collaboration is not just with designers. I think that's something that they fail to see, right?
Mm,
You can collaborate with your clients. Your clients can want to edit some parts of the file, but imagine telling your client download Illustrator. I mean, some clients don't even want to see Figma, but I can imagine, you can pay for Adobe subscription to.
license to download and see your project.
Adobe
Yeah.
like a very it feels like it's only made for creators. And I think that the world that we live in, right, a lot more
Mm,
people because you spoke about Canva the other time, and I agree with
mhm,
you,
mhm. I was gonna ask you about Canva as well. Yeah.
right? Anything that allows people to create stuff. And you might say that, oh, why would people who have learned Adobe Illustrator, why would someone use Canva? I mean, if
Mm,
I some of the works that I done in 2012, some people's Canva are better than my work. Like
mm,
So, like, who am I to say that that person is not a designer, right? If that's
exactly.
great now, and Canva still has all of these tools that allow you to create stuff. So, from
It has
alignment
so much tools. Yep.
to
Yep.
it's how you apply, it's how you use your understanding of these design principles that can allow. There are times, there are times where I create templates for people and I
Mm,
deliver it to them on Canva. There are times where I create
mm,
templates for people and deliver it to them on Google Slides, right?
mm.
Because sometimes it's more about the collaboration than it is
Mhm.
about your design. So
Yeah.
the thought is that I must be able to deliver the design in a way that
Yep.
allows it to operate. For example,
Exactly.
partnership deck. There are going to be
Mm,
tons of people who collaborate on that deck who need to change the logo of someone, who need to change the contact of someone. They don't need to be calling
mhm,
me every 5 days. They want to send this to someone. It would
mm,
be foolish to say that your design is only available in Photoshop
mhm.
or available in Figma. You get what I
Yeah.
mean? It
Yeah.
has to be
Yeah.
available in it allows it to work. That's how life works. So I think that that's what some of the things that they are missing. There needs to be more collaboration oriented. So these are some of the reasons why I use this feature platforms that
Figma.
allow yeah
Yeah.
that
Like Figma. Wow. That's true. That's so true. Okay, next questions. Are you ready? We're about to resume. Um, Michael Beirut or Polache?
I'll say Polashe. I'll say Polashe. I'm so fascinated with what she has been able to do in her lifetime and the fact that she's still
Mm,
practicing still really, really leading amazing work. You know,
mm,
I'll say Polashe. I mean, and I don't say Michael Berry doesn't have this, but um, I'm just fascinated with like Polashe's journey and what
mm.
it meant for her to do what she has done against all odds. You know, so
As a
yeah,
woman, for that matter, I agree with you, 100%. As a woman, for that matter, I like I said, I listened to her a lot, and one of the one of the sessions she had, and she was talking about sometimes even till now, she goes into some rooms to present work, and they're like, "Okay, where's the designer?" Like, I'm the designer. I'm the designer. I'm the one. Till now, people are
yeah.
still looking like, where is the design? Like, that's crazy. And for her to still like the amount of the work she's done, it's just crazy. Like, she's done amazing work. Uh, typography or illustration?
Hmm. I'll say illustration. I mean, I'll say illustration. Illustration has the power to bring things that are not you're not able to put into words, you're not able to put
Mm,
into pictures. I mean, you can have limits by by photography, and illustration will allow you to exceed those limits. So I'll say
mm.
illustration.
I can tell from your feed. It's probably illustrations. Okay. Paper sketching or digital drawing?
I'll say digital drawing. As much as I always sketch, um,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that I do it as consistently as I want to. Like I sketch for references. I can sketch something, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to use that sketch other than how do I put this? I sketch when I want to flesh out a
Generate
concept.
ideas. Okay.
When I want to draw, I
Mm.
don't work from my. I mean, I can look at my sketch, but I'm not tracing my sketch. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not
Makes
tracing my.
sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
But I need
Makes
the
sense.
sketch to make sure that I'm able to put all of what I want to put into the.
Okay. Are you ready? We're back.
I am
Okay. Logo design or brand identity?
brand identity. Like,
You don't like
so
your 36 days of logos?
because I'll say a lot of people see, or at least a lot of clients that I speak to,
Mm,
they see logo design as like the ultimate. Whereas I know
mm,
I have this conversation with too many clients, telling them that see all of what you want to say with your logo, you can say
mm,
it with your entire brand identity. Your logo doesn't
mm.
have to hold weight. Your logo doesn't have to explain the whole story. Your brand identity can take some of that story and tell it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more you can do with a
With
full brand system
the
that you can
system.
just get to, yeah,
Okay. Minimalism or maximalism?
maximalism.
Ah,
Maximalism.
of course.
I'm not just saying because I know like a very serious topic in the like right now. A lot of people, are bashing minimalism, and
Mm-hmm.
I also saw like when minimalism started coming to the forefront, people
Mm-hmm.
using flat design. He actually started with flat design. People call it flat design and illustration stuff.
Did you see the Jaguar story? Yeah. The drag for Jaguar, man. Oh my goodness. What did you even think about that? Let's digress a bit. What did you think about Jaguar's new identity?
I don't know why they intentionally do that because I first of all thought it wasn't intentional. You know,
Yeah.
CEO came, he defended it. The head of marketing came, defended it. They defended it till the end. I mean, right now they've said
Mm-hmm.
that they that's what they are going with, right?
Yep.
And this, a lot of people don't like it, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't understand that logic because how you say that the people who are alive right now, who
Mm-hmm.
have followed your brand design and your story, yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
your brand is not made for them, and you're waiting for
Mm.
this generation that would come in the future to buy your
Mm.
cars. Wouldn't you run
Mm.
out of for those people grow old? So I don't
Mm.
know how I don't understand because if you're saying people right now are the ones who are going to buy your cars,
Mm.
or people right now are not the ones who are buying your cars, are you going to wait till those people are old? And will you still have a business when they are older? How are you doing the branding now? Why didn't you just pause your branding till then? So I don't really know. I just feel like they said all of those things to counter what we were saying then. But even if they wanted to bring in some new things, make it electric, do all of those things, you shouldn't be discarding all of what they've built on, all of that whole
Mm.
legacy. I felt they threw a lot of it away. And
Mm.
but yeah,
Yeah.
for that kind of, it wasn't a very good argument. If the argument was compelling, I'm probably not
Yeah.
going to have. I really expected that they were going to say something that will show me what they were thinking,
Yeah.
but so I'm not convinced. Yeah,
So, um, collaborative design or solo projects?
definitely collaborative design. Definitely
Okay.
collaborate. There is always collaboration, whether it's with the clients, whether it's with someone who is going to we are getting some work from. I mean, a lot of times when we even work as designers, you know, you get work that someone else has done. Collaboration is
Mm.
not this understanding. Okay, this is a conversation with this person who has done the. It's just really understanding that you are not the only sort of player. You need to do your own part, right? But then again, I say this because I also try to give out works. I do projects. I commission people to do projects and all that. I also believe in ownership of what it is you are doing.
Mm.
A project will fail if someone is not accountable for a particular aspect of it. So you can't, let's say you're working on something, you can't have, say, two people work on illustration, except maybe they are working on different parts of the illustration. Someone needs
Mm.
to work on something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you working on illustration and somebody else is going to take that illustration and work on the website. Is you still
Yeah.
collaborating? You working on
Yep.
illustration and build the concepts. It's still collaboration. But it's
Mhm.
understanding that how do you collaborate? How do you make sure that
Exactly.
you can engage with that person?
Yeah.
Make sure the idea come to life, and also like just really be a great collaborator or a great
Mhm.
person to work with.
Morning creativity or late night inspiration?
So I start my day around like 6 thereabouts, and then I
Oh.
probably I do a lot of my work in the mornings. Then I have like
Oh.
meetings. Yeah, I do a lot of my work when
Hmm.
nobody's working. So yeah,
Hmm.
because that's distracted, no messages, nothing. It's just me and my work. In the middle of the night, like once it's 11, my
Yeah.
body shuts down. Like I mean, there's sometimes where I decide, okay, I have to do sprints. There's times where I don't sleep for
Mm.
days. But on a typical day, right,
Yeah.
gets into like I'm just going to go to bed. I literally work till I'm so tired and I'm like, you know what, my body just tells me, see, you need to go to bed now, and I go to work. Bed.
Abstract art or realism?
Hmm. Nowadays, I'll say realism. I'm
Hmm.
very realism. Um, and like I said the other time about Unreal Engine and even just some of and even AI right now, I'm drawn towards the fact that we are coming to a place where you know we can recreate things that are indistinguishable from reality. But the thing with doing
Mm.
things from reality is that you can layer abstractness on top of it and recreate reality,
Mm.
right? You now and you can see okay, I'll use Unreal Engine entirely for this example, right?
Yeah.
Unreal Engine, you see some people who create games that's so real,
Mm.
but then again, they don't just leave it there.
Mm.
You cannot say, you know what, I want these games to look real, but I want the
Mm.
clothes to look 3D.
Mm. Mm.
That's something that is not possible, but it's still like
Mm.
reality in a way that gives you a concept that is not imaginable, like in any way.
Mm.
And you see it with
Yeah.
even
Like COD, for example.
yes, yes. So
Yeah.
you combine things that are real with things that are
Yeah.
semi-real, with things that are
Yeah.
stylized, with things that are, and I feel like this is where because when you are playing in this realm of creativity, there is no
Mm.
bound, right? If reality will not put you in if reality does not bind you, right, nothing else will bind you. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So you create
Mhm.
whatever if you can if you can recreate reality. So, and I'm saying that same thing with AI because if you can recreate something to be so accurate, you can
Mm.
can build on top of it. You can
Absolutely.
yeah. So I'll say realism.
Okay, so we're getting to the end now. This has been a very interesting discussion. I've thoroughly enjoyed listening to you. So my questions are in two layers. One is that what legacy do you hope to leave in the design world, right, and beyond, especially in like in African design, right? What legacy do you hope to leave?
Well, I don't know if I can speak to that question because I don't think legacy is something that you have any control over, right?
Mm.
But what I want to do is I want to do my part. I want to work as I want to do my work, right? I want to do what I can do towards solving the problems that are in view, things that are possible for me to do. And maybe that's the legacy I would like to leave, right? But I don't think that because I'm also a very astute student of history. A lot of people who
Okay.
have left legacies or want to leave legacies, right? Legacy is not something that you get to define. You can upon your
Mm.
there are people who they are bringing out their statues and painting rapist on it. Those guys didn't want. I mean, their legacy wasn't that after I died,
Mm.
people tag me as a rapist and all that, or people say slave trader, and all of that, whatever,
Mm.
right? But and like I said, because it's not for you to say, right?
Mm.
But what I want to do, right? All I can control is what I put in work that I do, and I want to hold myself to the highest standards that I can, do what is in front of me, do what I can do. I told you the other time that I'm driven by possibility, right?
Yeah.
And it's not all the time that things are possible. For me, I see it as okay, if I'm not working on things that are possible, because they are possible, and because they didn't used to be possible, and because now that they are possible, it opens up opportunities for me and for a lot more people, right?
Mm.
I see service. So All I want to do is to continue to be able to do the work that I need to do on the things that are possible. And I think legacy writes itself. But yeah.
Amazing. That's such a good answer. Thank you so much. The next layer of the question is, what's next for you, both as a designer and also as a community leader?
As a designer, well, I mean, I will continue to run my practice. Like you mentioned, the likes of Paul Asha, Michael Beru. I obviously want to get. I want to, do this even while I'm old. I want to do this.
Mm,
I'll practice. Way into my years, right? So I'll continue to practice, right? I'll continue to learn new skills. Obviously, I can't learn everything at once, but I'll continue to learn them as I can.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
continue to pick up skills when I can, while I can, as we continue to go
yeah,
forward. Um,
yeah.
with respect to the as a community,
Community.
yeah, my goal and what I said, really for Lagos Miss, because I see it's political for me. This whole community thing too is really political for
Mm,
me. Like I said, in the next 50 years, Nigeria will be the third largest country in the world.
mm,
Facts. Third
mm,
largest country in the world. Now, we have two realities that can come out of that. Is that we have the third largest country in the world where a lot of people are poor and uneducated. We have the third largest country in the world where a lot of people are capable, creative, contributing to society in very meaningful ways, right? And I think 50 years is a long time to
yeah,
actually to work on those things, right? And I'm not saying that, oh, it's only what I'm going to. I believe there is collaborating people who are doing the work also, who are
true.
working in the right direction, right? So
Hmm.
I will continue to work towards, a future where when we look back, right, we see that, this upcoming future where we're going to have, significant political advantage by being the third largest country in the world. It wouldn't just be that there's still a lot of people who are on. I mean, right now, the reality is that Nigeria is one of the poorest countries in the world. We don't need to
Facts.
think far to think of what that reality is. We are living the reality right now. All I
Right.
want is different reality when we are
Yeah.
also in the world. So to bring this into much more actionable stuff, like I said,
Yeah.
if we're the third largest country in the world and we can also contribute significantly, right, to the global creative conversation, a lot of
Mhm.
creators are, working with international brands, right? That's something that I would like to see. So what we're working on and what I'll continue to work on is to create these channels, these networks, these relationships, with
Yeah.
different countries, right, where Nigerian talents can actually execute international projects. International projects can flow into Nigeria, and people can earn both foreign exchange and people can we can also reinvigorate the local economy. A lot more people in
Mm,
Nigeria. I'm not also very focused on the work we're doing locally because I think Nigerian creators are doing this work locally. I think that also um, when people see what is possible, people see how Nigerian creators are really contributing to the international conversation. It only follows that Nigerians will, accept and adopt Nigerians. It has happened. It's considered. I mean,
absolutely.
with what you said about the music industry, from is when you start to see that these guys are winning Grammys, these guys are getting celebrated, these guys are really getting these accolades. People now start to see that, okay, what is here? Is it
Mm,
really? Is actually really that good? People.
mm,
So I really think that we need to make our mark on a global stage as Nigerians, and we all
yeah.
benefit from that. All of us,
Yeah.
change perception, and that's what we're going to continue.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just to make a quick, reference to what you said, I connect with what you said so much, so much. Whether I'm home or away, like for me, home is home, man. Like if you don't, they say charity begins from home, but this is literally what it means. Anywhere we are, like we must identify as Nigerians, Africans, and until you build your own home, you're not rooted, right? Anywhere you are, it won't, you can't claim ownership of anywhere you move to other than your home. So we do need to build on that. And I'll give an example of one of the things, like for example, you collaborating with international brands like Figma, Dribble is also a way of putting this, narrative, getting it in the minds of people both home and abroad. The Nigerian creators are here to stay. Like we are contributing to this thing. And I was telling Sheyi the other time, I was like, you collaborate, working with Pentagram was a milestone achievement in the landscape of design and creative work in Africa. I don't remember any designer ever doing any collaboration at that level until then. I don't remember anyone. Maybe someone can correct me, but I feel like that was a milestone moment in this industry. Like when you think of international collaborations like music, Davido collaborating with Chris Brown, Chris Brown going on a tour in South Africa. Like, bro, that's culture shift, you know. So that's how much. Imagine like Chris Do coming to Nigeria to do it all. Yeah, why not? That's going to that's going to shift the needle, man. So those are the things that we can start to envision to, like, okay, 2025, what do we need to do? How much work do we need to put in to actually get people recognizing? India is doing this thing a lot. India creators, they're not playing, man. Those designers, you can say, they're just doing, but more the numbers they have, they're not playing. You can see Chris Do doing podcast sessions with Indians, a lot of them, so they are moving, they are doing that, and Nigerians as well, Africans, we need to do more of these things, because like I said, international collaborations is the way forward, man. Look at the templates with music industry, like with even Netflix coming to Nigeria, Prime coming to Nigeria. Imagine, having Adobe Center in Nigeria, Dribble Center, all those kind of things. That's the kind of future me I envision. You have like exhibitions, cultural centers sponsored by all these agencies that are collecting money from us. Like all those kind of things. They are going to give more exposure. And Lagos Meet, exactly. This is a platform where collaborations can, we can foster more collaborations, platforms where creatives can come together and be recognized for the amazing work that they do. And yeah, that brings us to the end of this conversation and this session. And we have a last question that we always ask all our guests on the session, which is more of a motivational and an inspiring question. It doesn't have to do with design, doesn't have to do with anything that, is it just has to do with you as a person, because first of all, you're a human being.
Yeah,
And for me, fundamentally, as much as we're increasing or we're getting better professionally in terms of our skills and all these other things, it's also important to also have a retrospective and a forward thinking way to also be better human beings. You made some posters that were like, be kind. That's something that I connect really with. Kindness, just, show love to people, support people, be there for your friends, be there for your loved ones. Charity begins at home, like all these things that we say every day. There are things that, they are very important conversations that we must have. So the question which, like I said, we ask every person on this podcast is, what are you currently doing to become a better version of yourself?
that's a very good question. Constantly, I'm always inspiring I'm always challenging myself,
Yeah.
right? Always challenging myself. I think it was my wife that was still saying it that, one thing that she loves about me, I think a lot of people, and I love about myself too, right, is that,
Love it.
every year, right, I try to dare myself a bit more, right?
Mm,
And daring myself is daring myself. It's not me daring someone else. It's not. It's based
mm,
where I am. It's based on what I can do. It's based
yeah.
on, what I believe, is possible, right?
Mm,
I add more to it, and in a way, that sort of progression has
mm,
seen me get better, whether or not I want it, right?
mm,
I'll give you an example.
yeah.
Um, I put myself strategically into situations that force me to get better,
Mm,
right? If I realize that, okay, I have lapses somewhere, right? Say, a particular area, I
very
can join.
relatable, man.
Yeah, I can join a team in a
Mm,
way that, I'm collaborating with them maybe on some, but it allows me to learn firsthand how to
mm,
counter that I have lapses in, right?
mm,
Um, and at the end of the day, time will pass. I would have a new insights, and I would have just,
exactly.
and I
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to say I can't do it again, or I'm going to leave. Like,
Mm,
force myself to go
yeah.
through that. So, I think a lot of the things that I do, I feel like I do it to put myself in situations where at the end of the day, I'm forcing myself to get better. I also
Mm,
mentioned the other time that I do this thing called, I mean, we a lot of us know it as creative challenges, right?
You
I try to
mentioned that.
set days like today where I'm out now, I try to do daily challenges, right? If I was home now, right about now, I'll probably be designing, right? This, this is the time I will be designing. So like I said,
Mm,
I do clients works and all that in the morning,
yeah.
right? I have,
Okay.
then in the evenings, right? My evenings are for me to create experiments, right?
Mm,
Decide, I want to pick up 3D today. Let me use Blender. I can decide,
mm,
oh, tomorrow, Calvary I want to use. I want to create some posters. There's this reference I saw. It's hard to create. Maybe I can try this way, right? And that's what I do in the evenings when I'm home, right?
mm,
That process has also forced me to get better because, I mean, there are times where I'll spend 4 hours creating something, and I would
mm,
eventually, like it happens, and nobody would ever see it, right?
mm,
I will not people save it, right? But I've learned something that is so useful to me, and I believe I believe that progress is the only good measure.
mm,
At the end of it, a lot of people say, man, see, people can say, you know what, you're not learning fast enough, you're not doing this
mm.
enough. People can say whatever they want to say, but
Yep.
personal. And if
Yeah.
you make progress, you've
Yeah.
made you've
Simple.
grown.
You've
So all
grown.
I focus on is making
Yeah.
progress, personal progress, right?
Yeah.
Realize that you've made progress or you made. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, progress is so important because it's a measure that allows you to know that you're moving forward.